This powerful new moon in Gemini is bringing in major clarity and revelations. Hi, I'm Jenny Kern, and welcome back to J. Kernifer Astrology, a community of cosmic collaborators where we explore manifestation, the law of attraction, spiritual awakening, personal transformation, among many other topics, through the medium of astrology. Today we'll be discussing the new moon, 26 degrees of Gemini, happening on Saturday or Sunday, depending on where in the world you're tuning in from. For those of you on the East Coast like me, the new moon, 26 degrees of Gemini, will happen very early Sunday morning at 12:37 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll be out and about at Barefoot Country Music Festival. If you've noticed I barely have a voice, it's because Brian and I did back-to-back country music festivals, and well, I love to sing. We'll explore the major themes of this new moon in Gemini through the main astrological aspects involved, and I'll provide some insight and educated guesses for what we may see happen and pointers for how to best work with the energy. I do have my natal moon in Gemini. I know this energy very well. Review, the new moon is the very first phase in the moon's 29.53-day monthly cycle. It's when 0% of the moon is visible due to its alignment in the universe in the same constellation as the sun. Therefore, it's unable to reflect the light of the sun in a way that we would be able to see it, such as during the full moon, when the moon is opposite the sun in the sky. This month, the new moon is in Gemini. Gemini is chatty, curious, childlike, communicative. Gemini, ruled by Mercury, along with its fraternal twin sister Virgo, incarnated to disseminate knowledge, to not only learn, collect, and organize knowledge on both sides, all sides, but to also disseminate that through speaking or writing. New moons represent new beginnings for a couple of reasons. For one, it's the very first phase in the lunar cycle. For two, 0% of the moon is visible. 3, it represents an alignment of the sun, our soul's core expression and mission, and moon, our comfort-seeking, emotional, and intuitive nature. When there's alignment of these energies, it's time to set some intentions of things we'd like to manifest. You can see these intentions manifest within the next 6 months under the corresponding full moon in Gemini, which will be during Sagittarius season. It'll be a few days after Thanksgiving this year, on November 27th, 2023. Since the sun has been in Gemini since the beginning of Gemini season, the sun has been answering to its ruler, Mercury. Gemini's ruler, Mercury. Anything in Leo, which is right now Mars and Venus, which is ruled by the sun, is also under Gemini and Mercury, since Mercury is in its sign of rulership and strengthened and more benefic there in Gemini. Mercury is in Gemini from June 11th to June 26th. Mark your calendars, there's still some time to take advantage of the ideation that is just pouring in, especially after the recent alignment of Mercury and Uranus. Intention that we're planning right now might be related to a new project or an idea, some sort of communication, or something that you are learning and exploring that you may later take to mastery. Have the moon in Gemini. Natal moon in Geminis are master manifestors. They simply think, speak, or write things into existence. And because Gemini is represented by the Roman numeral 2, representing their capacity for connection between light and shadow, now more than ever to be impeccable with your words. Referencing the book The 4 Agreements and the later version, The 5 Agreements, by Don Miguel Ruiz. The 4 agreements include: be impeccable with your words, speak with integrity, say only what you mean, avoid using words to speak against yourself or to gossip about others, especially under Gemini. Use the power of your word, of the word, to love. Never use it to cause fear or pain in another or within yourself. The other agreements are also helpful. Don't take anything personally, especially with Mars and Venus in Leo, and a Venus retrograde coming up in Leo. Don't make assumptions. It's the same as not judging a book by its cover. And always doing your best, knowing that you will fail and make mistakes at 1 and 2 and 3 above. And all that matters is how quickly you return to center, and how conscious you are that you will try and do better, how much accountability you're willing to take. In consciousness, being human means that we have an awareness of our thoughts. This sets us different from any other animal. That means we also have the power to change them. No other creature that we know of at this point in time is able to do that. And then is how you use that power. Respect it. Do you respect it and use it for light and love? Or do you take advantage of it and use it for things like greed and power over others? I represented by the Roman numeral 2, representing the twins. Imbalanced Gemini can seem like completely different people. It is because Gemini has an ability to connect with both light and dark, to see all sides, to gather the information. It's Libra and Aquarius, that later Libra bringing the balance, and Aquarius bringing the detachment, the ability to look at things from a third eye, bigger perspective. The air signs being ether or mental energy. Numeral 2, representing its capacity for duality, the balance of both internal light and shadow. Remember Mercury, the ruler of Gemini and Virgo? Mercury is Hermes in Greek mythology, the messenger god who delivered messages between the gods in Olympus, the light, and Pluto, Hades, in the underworld. Incarnated to disseminate knowledge, be it through verbal, spoken communication, or written. 26 degrees of Gemini is bringing a major reset to our mindset, our ideas, our ways of thinking, our opinions, and how we communicate. With 4 planets in the sign of Taurus, under Venus's rulership, is still a major player all year. 2023, 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 3, adding up to 7, a number representing Libra and Venus energy, is a major player all year. Our values, what we love and value, and how we love are all changing, transforming for the better. A lot of people are waking up right now, and if you stay with me through the end, I'll apply the major aspects, astrological aspects involved, to try to explain what I think is going on. Happening on a Saturday or Sunday, depending on where in the world you're tuning in from. If you're on the Pacific Coast, it happens on Saturday, which is Saturn's day, so you can check out my other video that I recently posted for Saturday, June 17th, and Saturn retrograde. That will be one of the planets to focus on either way, but if it's happening on a Saturday, pay special attention to that Saturn retrograde. If you're like me on the East Coast of the United States, it's happening in the middle of the night at 12:37 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sunday, June 18th. Since it's happening on a Sunday where I am in Wildwood, New Jersey, for Barefoot Country Music Festival, I will focus on Sunday for this video. If you're curious about what I spoke about in Saturday, it's also applicable and highly aspected in what's going on under this new moon, so I encourage you to check out that video as well. Sunday is the sun's day. The new moon is an alignment of the sun and the moon, our soul's core expression, sun and moon, our emotional, intuitive, comfort-seeking nature. We also have Juno aligning under this transit, which involves our long-term commitments. These are all aligning within 27 degrees of Gemini. It's a triple conjunction, strengthening the energy. This means that our soul's expression, comfort-seeking, emotional, intuitive nature, fusing with our long-term commitments. We are aligning with authenticity and soul purpose, and we are making those commitments. It's happening in Gemini. Anything in Gemini strengthened because Mercury, its ruler, is in that sign. This is creating a 4-placement stellium, Mercury, Sun, Moon, Juno, creating a large focus of energy within Gemini. Media, communication, ideation, being sociable, having a busy social calendar. Since the sun is in Gemini and one of the key players in this new moon, we'll need to focus on everything in Leo, which the sun rules and influences. Currently, that's Venus, what we love and value and how we love and value. Mars, our motivation and drive and outward expression of energy. Black Moon Lilith, the shadow, dark side of the feminine, where the feminine needs to tap into their personal empowerment. And Pallas Athena, our creative intelligence, all aligned in Leo, all answering to the sun in Gemini, which is answering to a very strong Mercury in Gemini through June 26th. This is another 4-placement stellium, huge emphasis of energy in Leo. Leo incarnated for creative self-expression and heart-centered leadership or parenting. We're releasing blocks to power. where we've let the views or opinions of others, we've given them too much stock and allowed them to keep us small, blocking our own creativity. We're challenged now to defend those, to defend our talents and defend our creativity. The energies of both Gemini and Leo form a supportive 60-degree sextile from one another, just like Leo and Libra do. You'll notice that every other sign tends to get along, and this is no coincidence. This is because every other sign forms a benefic or working together energy with the sign two away from it, so 60-degree difference. It's called a sextile for those of you learning astrology. Air also fuels fire, so this effect is further strengthening the energy. In this case, it's Mercury around 11 degrees of Gemini and Venus at 11 degrees of Leo. Our logical conscious minds are active, focused, and full of ideas in Gemini, working with our values and what we love, which is fused with our motivation and drive, both of which focused on creative self-expression and heart-centered leadership. However, we have Mercury squaring Saturn retrograde, Saturn forming a benefic sextile to Jupiter, which expands, and with the north node of fate and destiny. So we have our karmic lessons expanded by Jupiter, Jupiter helping to heal our approaches to abundance, how we attract versus chase, and our openness to receive, helping us shift a lack mentality overall, working with our karmic lessons. And it's going to feel really faded because the North Node is involved in that, forming a pressure point, so a 90-degree angle, a square, putting pressure on Mercury, our conscious logical minds, strengthened in Gemini. So we're not going to be able to avoid whatever this karmic lesson is. It's going to be loud and clear. Clarity is coming in. We do have this new moon, so the moon, sun, moon, and Juno forming a square, a block to Neptune, which Neptune does have a tendency for delusion. Either they are the one wearing rose-colored glasses that falls for it, or they're the one imbalanced as well in the opposite direction, but doing the deluding. That is forming sextiles to both Vesta and Uranus at the late degrees of Taurus, and sextiles to Pluto retrograde, 29 degrees of Capricorn. So our personal transformation, our approaches to success and how we define it, our careers, working with Neptune. Rose-colored glasses are coming off. People are waking up to maybe how they're being used, how they're over-giving. Neptune and Pisces, they have pretty shitty boundaries. They're like Libra, Cancer. Hate to throw you guys all under the bus, but until we learn to stop giving to receive, and that love is unconditional, we set up boundaries that protect ourselves from being taken or over-giving to a situation where we completely lose ourselves. Until we're able to learn those Saturn and Pisces boundaries, we'll keep facing these lessons until we sit down and realize what it is that we're doing, how we're showing up to the situation, to the relationship, to the job, how we're overgiving for that to clear away. With the Saturn to Mercury square, this is going to create some confusion and delusion, but it will clear away. We're forced to face disempowering situations where we've had weak boundaries that led to us putting ourselves in positions where we later found ourselves to be the victim. Or maybe we ourselves took advantage of another. We're facing ways we've blocked our own creativity, intuition, and spiritual connection, and personal transformation, especially through the use of addictive substances like alcohol, drugs, keeping ourselves from doing the work we need to do through playing excessive hours of video games, escaping reality in whatever way we are most prone to do, be it workaholism. Addiction is also rearing its ugly head under these transits. Addiction affects more families than you realize, and so does narcissism. So I am sending my thoughts, my prayers, my positive vibes, anything that I can to support you in your healing. If there's anything you want to mention in the comments below specifically that we together can collectively focus our, you can call it praying, you can call it meditation, you can call it whatever you'd like, but focusing our positive thoughts and energies toward sending you light and love, please let us know. Addiction is rearing its ugly head. I've watched a secret addiction turn a person I thought I loved into an absolute monster right before my eyes, and I've watched the same happen to my mother, relapse after relapse. Forgive them. They know not what they do. They're trapped in a vicious cycle that at the very core of it is a person that doesn't love themselves. They give into the shadow time and time again and thus become the shadow. Send them light and love, but know that it's not your job to fix them. Overall, for this new moon in Gemini, you're challenged to balance your head and your heart, your logical, conscious mind with your more creative and intuitive nature. I did pre-shuffle these inside. And while I was playing around out here with my tarot cards in 22-mile-per-hour gusts of wind on a balcony, because, you know, it's just really smart, one of the cards, no shit Sherlock, flew off the deck. And when I went around the corner to chase the card, with my friends partying below, giggling as I run by, I'm here for your entertainment. It was the Hermit card. And when I showed it to my boyfriend, he took a swing at interpreting and said that he thinks it's a sign for me to shake hermit mode and to stop workaholic Virgo Capricorn energy so much and get out there. And he's got his moon in Sag, which is very similar to moon in Gemini. It's very fun-seeking, it's very adventurous, it loves live music, and it loves to have a good time. Encouraging me to tap into that energy a little bit more for the rest of the trip once I satisfy this past life Virgo and secretly load the Capricorn in my chart. Energy satisfied with a little bit of work. It takes a Libra rising, Libra sun, Venus in Libra, and Mercury in Libra, my chart ruler, balance for it all to work. Balance and intention. All right, let's see what we got. Feeling one more shuffle. Just put the deck around there. Let's see what we get. Judgment. This card gives me a lot of Libra and Sagittarius energy. Judgment. Maybe a little bit of Saturn with karma coming to collect. Release yourself. The light is within. Close your eyes and trust. Tap into that Gemini energy and go with the flow.